All right. Okay. Let's see how this goes. Hmm. If you're watching this video from the top, sincerely apologize for the back and forth. This was supposed to happen on IG, but for a reason or another, they didn't let us go live. And I was sure I checked before this meeting started. Surprisingly, I guess I didn't check well enough. This didn't go exactly as as planned, I guess. I'm trying to see if there's a way I could set the thing here on YouTube while I, in that same breath, wait for people who would be joining this live stream in any moment from now. I sincerely hoped that we'll be able to, you know, sincerely hope that we'll be able to do this on IG, but I guess IG had other plans for us, sadly. Okay. Just give me a moment. Uh, all right. I think we could just start. We'll start in exactly 1 minute. Once the clock strikes 10:15, we would begin this live in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. All right. I had a cold that took my voice along with it, and I think upon praying, I told God, I have something this morning, and I guess He allowed my voice to be restored because it was gone for 48 hours. Just gone. You could barely hear me. But anywho, all right. So let us start. I remember the first time I ever, laid my hands on a PC for video editing purposes. I remember it was, I think it was 2010, either 2010 or 11. I think it was 2010, 11. I can't remember thereabout. I remember. I think first it was my parents' office. They had this desktops, and the long back ones. And then my dad brought home a Dell laptop, this old piece of work. That laptop, it was a Dell laptop. He brought it home, and I started. This is where you can tell people who are really old in this thing. I started playing with PowerPoint. From Windows PowerPoint, I went to Windows Movie Maker. Now, some of you don't know what Windows Movie Maker is. I mean, that shows how old you are in this joint. Windows Movie Maker. I went from PowerPoint, you make some stuff on PowerPoint that you're seeing on TV, and then you take it all the way to Windows Movie Maker. And I would make stuff on Windows Movie Maker, join all the clips together. I mean, keep it in mind that this is like 2011. That's like 15 or 16. I don't know. I'm bad at math sometimes. Years ago, it's been that long. So I would do something on Windows Movie Maker, and then from Windows Movie Maker, over the years, I switched to, I think this was now 2015. We switched to InShot. You remember InShot? Oh my goodness. For Android and Apple, whatever. And then I think it was in 2017/18. There was just that intersection between 2017 and 18 that we switched to there's an app like that. I honestly can't remember the name for the life of me, but there was an app like that we used for video editing. I don't remember its name anymore. And it was around the same time. I think it was in early 2018. I switched to Movavi/Filmora. I hope like this. If you're a video editor, you probably know the apps I'm just mentioning. Movavi, Filmora, video editor. I would use that for what now? Editing. In fact, I edited an entire short movie on, I think it was Movavi. at the time. And it was later 2018 that I had now fully transitioned from that into Premiere Pro. So I've been using Premiere Pro since 2018, and count it 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26 is about 8 years. I'm an OG in this joint. 8 years of using what now? Premiere Pro. And in my opinion, that still remains one of the best video editors in this world. I mean, you can doubt me. I mean, you can doubt, but in my opinion, that's like I said, in my opinion, what now? Premiere Pro remains one of the best video editors ever made. Now, some years ago, I think it was 2022 or 23, I can't remember. My friend and I, we went somewhere to a location to shoot a video. It was supposed to be like a trailer concept for something I had going on at the time. And we went there. It was this beautiful field with, running water stream and all that. And we shot video and everything. He came with his crew, so we shot the video. And I remember turning to him and saying, "Yo, what app would you be using to edit these videos?" And he responded, "CapCut." And in my mind, I went, "What? Cap what? CapCut?" I honestly felt. Now, I tried my best not to like show him like the fact that I felt insulted in that moment. But in my mind, I'm like, "CapCut, squaw." If you're Nigerian, you understand what that means. What do you mean CapCut? Cap what? So I remember telling him, "All right, you know what? Here's what we're going to do. Give me this project. I will edit it first, and if it doesn't go well, then you can use your CapCut." Guess what? I never gave him the project to edit anymore. But I find it so funny and ludicrous in the same time that the same me who, I mean, my foundation in video editing was using InShots, what now, Movavi, Filmora. I'm the same person who was almost gaslighting someone else for making use of what now, CapCut. And this was like, what, 2023 or something. I mean, I'm probably the biggest hypocrite I know, I guess. Because honestly, as I think about it, I realize how unfair it was to him and all that. But then I think, and since this is a creative live, this is a creative conversation for creatives, I think it is safe to say, if we're being honest, that one of the greatest attributes or virtues that you can have as a creative is not looking down on others who are trying. Listen very carefully. If you are a creative here, video editing, music, arts, whatever it is that you're doing, I implore you today, do not look down on others who are trying. If people are around you and you see and you know that they are trying their best every day, they could be just phone videographers, and you have all the red camera and the black magic. You use all Nikon, Sony, use all these expensive cameras, and you can throw their names into conversations anyhow. But you know that the way you started was you were using phones. You were literally borrowing people's phones. If that is you today, I beg you in God's name, do not look down on others, especially those who are trying. In this creative space, it becomes very easy to forget how you started, and you look down on others who are trying their best because you think that they are not doing as good as you are, or they don't have as much following as you are. They don't have. You think they're not as intentional as you are, and you tend to look down on them because they're not doing what you are doing. I beg you in God's name, if you're a creative here, don't look down on others who are trying. I remember 2018, I had a movie project get shut down. And the reason the movie project got shut down was simply because, what's it called now? I teamed up with this wannabe director guy. This guy who, thought he was, I guess he thought he had this great idea and vision of himself. And I completely respect when you have a great self-image. But then when you look down on others to make yourself feel good and feel great, it's a terrible human virtue. Matter of fact, I don't think it's a human virtue. I think it's a demon virtue, honestly. Because I remember one time we were talking and I asked him about video editing, and I was like, yeah, I do video editing as well. Now, at the time, I started using Premiere Pro. And then he asked me, what app do you use? Movavi? Filmora? I was like, no, I use Premiere Pro. I was like, you need to see the disdain on his face when I told him I use Premiere Pro. And I was like he never believed I could say that. He thought Premiere, those days now, people used to think Premiere Pro was like for the elite 1%, And to mention After Effects, the way I remember somebody discouraging me about After Effects and telling me that After Effects, it could take up all your PC. I mean, After Effects has its own craziness, but the way people talked about these things was to eliminate you from even getting into those rooms or even trying. So I beg you in God's name, if you are a creative, a video editor, a musician, an artist, whatever it is, a songwriter, a church videographer, or a church project, you're in charge of projecting in church, don't look down on others, especially those who are trying. Because two things will come out of doing that. Two things. Number one, whenever you look down on other people and you look down on them and you despise their efforts, two things would happen. I know we're in a world where effort is not appreciated as much as the result is. I completely get it. People appreciate your result more than they appreciate the effort that goes into it. People don't really consider process because everybody knows that every process is peculiar to the person, and people disregard the process, but they appreciate the results. I get it. But if you are a creative, you do not have the right to think like that. If you're a creative, you do not have or possess within you the right to look down on other people who are trying. uh and I hope that somehow you're able to understand that this person is very much like me. They are like me. They have the same spirit, the same fire, the same passion and energy. You get what I'm saying now? I mean, look at the entire world now. Everybody's using CapCut. I use CapCut now. I use CapCut I've not even touched Premiere Pro in like a year because of the kind of work I do. I switched from Premiere Pro now to Adobe Audition. I do more sound design and stuff like that. So I moved from Premiere Pro, from video editing to sound design, right? But now I make use of CapCut when I want to make quick edit cuts, cuts and join videos. I make use of CapCut. So imagine me, who almost mocked my friend for saying he was going to use CapCut to edit a video we shot together, to being someone now who uses CapCut. I mean, I once had to pay someone to access the not pay some. Okay, I think it was like a group thing. I don't know what, like a joint collaborators thing. Pay to have someone access CapCut Pro plan for a task we had to do, a project we had at the time. So I use CapCut now. I don't look down on people who are trying. So this is my first admonition as a creative: don't look down on people, especially those who are trying. All right. In the next I think we've used about 12 minutes. I think we have. I'm bad at math, but I think we have about 17 plus minutes to go because it's 12:45 now. I have three things I want to talk about today, and I'm so sorry and sad again that this is not happening on IG as initially proposed, and most people are having to leave IG to come all the way to YouTube. I sincerely apologize, but I want to share with us in the next couple of minutes three ingredients that I believe that every creative is to possess. If you're a creative, you make videos, you make graphic designs, you make what now? You are a movie maker, film editor, whatever it is that you do. I have three core ingredients that you're supposed to have. I'm not going to do like my friend Samuel Omariwa said. This is not some aspire to Maguire, so you can acquire your perspiration. No, this is not one of those aspire Aguirre things. But then this is going to be three core ingredients that I believe that everybody is supposed to have, especially if you are a creative. If you're a writer, I have a friend who is into creative writing. I haven't told him how much I think his writing. I've not told him how good I think he is with his writing. I'm savoring the moment. That's bad. That's bad. Tell people that you are good while you can't tell them. But if you're a writer, content writer, film editor, whatever it is that you are doing, I have here three things that would definitely make the difference. It would definitely make all the difference that you need in that endeavor. Because of time, number one is, of course, a popular word. It's a cuss word for some people, and I understand how it feels like, because I was one of those people who thought this word was a cuss word. It starts with C, and it's the word consistency. I think I should have said it starts and ends with C. Consistency is something that it's a virtue that I believe I'm actually even seeing more creators, today that possess this ability, consistency, the ability to stay consistent, to keep doing, keep moving, keep acting, keep working, keep producing, keep putting out there. Consistency. I have a friend, I should say. Here now, we've not spoken in a minute, but he used to do this. He had one problem. I love him. I honestly, from the bottom of my heart, I love the guy. But he had one problem. I noticed, and the problem was sticking to something he says. What I mean is, my friend would put up a video today and say, "Oh, I am teaching you on this particular thing." Perhaps, for example, marketing, and he will make a video for about 3 days, and he would stop. And I wonder, you said you're doing 14 days. Why couldn't you just do it like? Why couldn't you just stay on for 14 days? Like, what really was the issue? It would stop at day two or day three. I don't think I'd ever seen him go as far as a week. Like, now listen, I'm not an influencer. I do not know what influencing entails. I know influencing is a very big deal. I don't plan on becoming an influencer, right? I don't have the grace and probably all the razzmatazz, everything needed to be an active influencer on X or YouTube, Instagram, whatever. But I do know one thing from from my analytical position, and it is that everything great is built on the back of consistency. You've got to learn to be consistent. If you're a baker, for example, you have to learn to be consistent, not just with what people don't see, the parts people don't see, the baking, but the parts people do see is what I'm referring to now. You have to learn. Everything I'm talking about now is what pertains to what people see. You have to learn to be consistent. You cannot build anything great on just complete total randomization of your online presence. I mean, this is the very online world we live in now. It's online, right? People don't live on site as much as they live online today. You have to learn to be what now? To be very consistent. Like, learn to like have a schedule for yourself, and just draft out something you know you can work with. I have a group that I work with outside of ILEADCREATIVES that I work with, and it's Imagine Studios 116. And one of the very first things we did as we're about to launch this season was we strategized and said, okay, this is what we're going to do. This is the plan that works for us. We would post, you drop podcasts on the first and last Wednesdays of every month. I drop every Friday. You drop second and third or second and fourth Saturdays. Structure. This is one of the reasons many people find it hard to be consistent, is that they've not structured their lives. They've not structured or organized how they intend to deliver. So people do not know you. You see, one of the ways to build brand and identity, right, is by letting people know certain attributes. Like, for example, I make this happen every Thursday. You only catch me doing this once a month, maybe every last Saturday, and stick to it, for goodness sake. Consistency. Do not play with that ingredient. It sounds cheap. It sounds like, yeah. I mean, many business people are not consistent with their social media presence, right? I mean, people don't use TikTok anymore. People don't. My friend, you've got to learn to be consistent. If you're making, I have a friend. I don't know if he's watching this right now. He probably would. He's an amazing man of God, right? He's not into. I mean, he's a creator, yes, but he's not into like video editing and things like that. He just makes short video sermons. And he told me this. He was going to start doing this. I think it was about a year ago or more, or two. I can't remember. He told me he was going to start making videos on TikTok and YouTube. Bro, I have not seen anybody as consistent as that man. He keeps on pushing out videos. He keeps on every week. Every week he makes a video. I know another lady like that in church. She makes these short videos. Every morning, you just see a video of her just waving and saying, hello, my brothers and sisters in Christ. Whenever I see her, I laugh. Whenever I laugh. Because that's consistency. You're building a brand for yourself. You've got to learn how to, because of my voice, how to be careful, just not be angry. But you've got to learn really to be consistent. You've got to learn how to keep on showing up. Right? You've got to learn to keep on showing up. Right? You don't have to keep doing the same thing over and over again, but let people know that you are doing something. And like, that's the point of an essence of brand identity, right? And you can build. I mean, Mr. Beast has built an entire industry off of him just being consistent with making YouTube videos. Do you get what I'm saying? If it's TikTok, if it's Instagram, if it's YouTube, Facebook, whatever platform you use, stay consistent in whatever realm or field you are. You've got to learn. Like I said, you cannot, and I know that I have about 10 minutes to go, but By the way, if you have any questions, let me know. I think I should be able to see if you have questions here. I think I don't know. And if you can also hear me, let me also see. I think there's a comment section. I don't know how it works here on YouTube anymore, but I think there should be a comment section side. So you just let me know, please. Um, I was trying to say something. What was it again? I think I forgot. Oh my God. But just let me continue. Consistency, yes, it's a very important virtue that really does help you to stay in the game long enough. I remember one of the reasons people find it hard to be consistent is that they've not learned the principle of tying yourself to what you say. People have not learned that principle. Tying yourself to what you say or what you do. What do I mean? For example, this live was posted weeks ago, about a week or two ago, that we're going to be having an IG live session. In fact, it was first mailed to the people who were partakers of what's it called now? The last what now? I lead creative summit that we had on the 5th of February this month on Thursday, right? After the event was over, we sent appreciation mails and we announced that we're going to be having this Instagram live, this live session. Now, about a week ago, we dropped the flyer saying there's going to be a live session for creatives. And today we're here. The reason I could not forget it and say, "Oh, I have a terrible voice, I can't do this," simply because I've tied myself to those things that have been said. It will be very bad on my side to say we'll do this and not do it. So being one of the core ingredients to being to being successfully consistent, I should say, is that you learn to bind yourself to what you say. If you're still having problems being a man or woman of your words, then your problem runs deeper than you even think. That's ingredient number one. Because of time, quickly. Number two, the second ingredient to being an amazing and a successful creative in this time, in this year, in this season of AI and everything like that, is that you've got to have great storytelling ability. Great storytelling ability. I see people making reels and videos today where it's like a vlog and they are talking, it's a voiceover, and some are just brilliant, some are awful. My goodness, some are very awful because they lack the ability to hold people on to the entire thing. I began this entire conversation by telling you about my history in video editing. I started by telling you about how I used to make videos on Microsoft PowerPoint, right? And then Windows Movie Maker. I talked about how I started making videos on Movavi and InShot and Filmora before I entered PowerPoint, and how I said all of that story. You were hooked. You watched me say it. Do you get what I'm saying? You have to learn to cultivate a great storytelling ability. You have to learn, because what binds and holds people these days, especially people that's very short and slim, what attention span. You've got to learn to hold people by telling great stories, not just video form. If you're a graphic designer, your graphic flyer, whatever, must tell a good story, not necessarily the story of the process, but the story of your mind. People must see and say, "Wow, how did this person make this happen?" Like, I'm trying to understand the concept behind this image I am seeing right now. Like, when people see your work, they should be able to engage with the story behind it, the story of excellence. You should learn to be a great storyteller. Right? Everything you do, if you're an artist, there are many musicians today, songwriters whose song I would never listen to. Not because it does not it's not necessarily even about whether or not it aligns with my faith. It's whether or not the content have any weight. Like, you've excelling at storytelling begins by just understanding that the point and core of every great movie is believability. The core and point of any great art is believability, right? We don't know we have an idea of the true story of the Mona Lisa, right? But what if that story we learned is not true? You know that if you look at her from one side, she's smiling. If you look at her from the other side, she's sad. We created the story behind it because the painting itself tells us the story. Does it make sense what I'm saying? So what I'm saying in essence is you've got to learn to be a great storyteller, because storytelling is one sure way of locking your work in the minds of people. Now, every Instagram reel I see starts with a story. It says, "Don't scroll." I once had a brother and they just go off and just You've got to learn to have great storytelling ability, right? Unless you're able to fully tell your story right, I doubt you'll be able to fully what now milk the power of social media, especially in this day and age. So if you're a church, if you're a graphic designer for your church or for your company, what story are you telling? I remember walking into a popular bank here in Nigeria. It's a UBA bank actually, and just behind the what now the what's it called, the cashier's desk, I guess is what it's called. There were these three frames that talks about the three E's of the bank: excellence. Is it three E's now? I think it was, yeah, three E's of UBA bank. There's excellence. I've forgotten the other two. My bad. But I read it and I'm like, wow. Somehow I already understand the story of this bank. You know what I'm saying? You've got to learn to tell your story right. Even if you, but speaking of bank, you see all the bankers are putting on very matching colors. All of them, they're telling a story. Now, if you see a color of a certain color, you without even seeing the network or brand, you can tell, oh, this is MTN, oh, this is Glow, oh, this is Nine Mobile, oh, this is. You know what I'm saying? So great storytelling ability is one thing that you cannot do without. We cannot do without. Lastly, last but not least, the third most important ingredient for every creative in this time is the ability of being unshameable. That's the way I just termed it. Being what? Unshameable. I saw a video of a lady who talked about how she does not have an iPhone and she wants to be a content creator and she doesn't care. She will make her videos with her poor Android device that looks like, dog poop, and she would still make her videos anywho, and you will love them and you will like them. I don't even follow her. For some reason, she just popped on my feed and I give that thing a like. That I love your spirit, ma'am. Many people these days cannot wait to get an iPhone. I was speaking with a friend some nights ago, and she was talking about how she does not have an iPhone. She doesn't have any of those gadgets that people have and make great sport with. She says she doesn't have those. But what she does have is a tenacious spirit. And she will keep creating with all the gadgets she can find. She will make good use of all the relationship of people, our relationship with people. She'll make good on those, and she will keep creating. Brother, sister, creative, dear creative, this is my counsel to you. You've got to learn to be unshameable. Don't be afraid to be in places and they are connecting and then you don't want to bring out your phone because you're not using the latest iPhone. What? Bring your phone out. Do the thing. Connect. People don't care about. You know what I'm saying? The only reason you think you care is because you are considering your net worth. If you are the wealthiest man in the world, in fact, you would want to defy the odds. You want to bring out a phone that has no connection with the internet. Just to let people know that you are there and you can do what you can do. But the reason you feel you can't do that is because you are somehow assume that is not the level that you are. Does it make sense now? So you have to learn to be unshameable. There's nothing to be ashamed of. Stop waiting to have everything you need. You might never have it. Start where you are. Be unshameable. I record audio podcasts with my phone. I don't have a podcast microphone anywhere. And I've been running my podcast for about 4 years now. I don't have a podcast microphone or gadget. All I use is my phone. And I make good use of it. I live unshameable. My friends and team at Majesty 116, we all use our mobile phones and I edit it perfectly. You wouldn't know. You have to learn to live what? Unshameable. You don't need the perfect light. I'm not using perfect lighting right now. I'm using light from my windows. I'm living what? Unshameable. You have to learn to live unshameable. Don't let people or competition or inavailability of certain resources make you feel less of a creator than you are. You are an amazing creator. It's not even about what you create with. It's about how you do it. It's about why you do it. It's about what you are doing. Live unshameable. There's nothing to be ashamed of, really. You don't have to have all the gadgets. What? If you create it perfectly, I have a friend. No, not a friend. Someone who we went to school together. His name is Prince. He used to make plantain chips. And he wasn't making plantain chips with any perfect place. As a matter of fact, he makes it behind his church back there on campus. right? He had this big iron pot. He made firewood, not even gas, firewood. Put it together, put his gigantic iron pot on it, and it makes plantain chips. And at some point, almost every store you checked back then had his plantain chips in there. He was so unshameable that he would go from house to house, knocking on your door, saying, "Come and buy plantain chips." I think one pack was like 600 naira, and that contained 12 plantain chips. You have to learn to be unshameable. I know that, just like, because this is something I relate with, we can get very introspective and we can become too aware of how people perceive us and what people think of us, so much so that we are paralyzed in what we are supposed to do because we don't have all it takes to properly sell that image. My brother, my sister, hear me and hear me well. You don't need all of that. All you need is to be dogged in your determination and to forget any other excuse, forget any other thing, and just square in, zero in your focus and live unashamable, unshameable, unshameable. I hope you have learned a thing or two today. I said the three greatest ingredients every creative must possess is consistency, what? Great storytelling. Wow, Prince now has his own kitchen and he's cooking fantastic jollof and fried rice with swat. Can you imagine? All this man started with was making plantain chips at the back of his church with an iron pot. Now he has his own kitchen and he's cooking fantastic jollof and fried rice with swallow. The Negro is making money. You don't need all you think you need. You don't need an iPhone. You don't need the latest gadgets. Make use of what you have, my sister, my brother. They're creative. Make use of what you have. So the three top ingredients that every creative must possess: number one, consistency; number two, great storytelling ability; and number three, you've got to learn to live what? Unashamed. You have to learn to live unshameable. Live unshameable. Live unshameable. I hope and pray that you've been able to learn a thing or two this morning. We'll keep having moments like this. In a month's time, we'll have another. Hopefully, we'll have a guest over with whom I could ask questions for 30 minutes and just thrill you in your day. Thank you very much for being a part of this live session. I hope that you've been able to learn a thing, two, or perhaps even five. I don't know how to end this live, sadly, but I hope I'll be able to do that now. So just ensure that you follow us on our social media platform. I'll try to ensure that this session is posted on IG. Perhaps not the full thing, but at least we're able to make clips out of it and post it on IG so that you can know how. So people on IG who probably missed it because we couldn't hold the IG live there will be able to be a part of this. Do not forget to keep on creating. Don't stop creating. You're a creative, and God has given you all that you need. All that you need is right where you are right now. You don't need to have more than you already do. So long as you have this focus, my sister, my brother, you can do everything. You might not be able to do as much as you want, but you can do as much as you need right now. So go out there and be a creative and be unashamed about it. Thank you very much, and I'll see you next time. Stay tuned.